Bills star running back James Cook did not show up for OTAs as he wants a new contract. Could that situation go south, and could the Bears try to trade for him? We're going to talk about it here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into the program. James Cook has 1 year left on his rookie deal worth $5.7 million. He's made it clear for a few months now he wants a new deal. Reports that he would like $15 million per year. We'll talk about a little bit later what he should command in a new contract. I like James Cook a lot. I think the last couple of years, especially last year, just from an efficiency standpoint, given the opportunities he had, 18 touchdowns, right at 5 yards per carry there. The receiving production went down a little bit, but he is a very, very capable pass catcher. The last 2 years, he's become, I'd say, near the top of that second tier of running backs in the NFL. Obviously you think about Saquon Barkley, a healthy Christian McCaffrey. I'd still have Derrick Henry ahead of him. Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, you'd probably take ahead of Cook, but he's right there after those guys. You look at the all-purpose yards leaders in the NFL the last couple of years, he's number 10, and that's with only having 237 plus 207, quick math, 444 carries the last couple of years. Like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, they've had a lot more touches, right? James Cook, in his 3 NFL seasons and in the last 2 years, averages 4.9 yards per carry. 2 years ago, he averaged 10 yards per catch. He is a very effective and explosive playmaker with the ball in his hands. And you have to remember, why are those carries not in the 280, 300? They run Josh Allen a lot. They have a couple other running backs they use as well. But he's got true 3-down running back ability because he can catch the football pretty darn well. I won't pretend that I've done a deep dive on his pass protection ability, but I would guess it's better than DeAndre Swift's, who isn't very good at all. So if he's just average in that regard, there's really no weakness to his game. And we know there's no weakness to his game as a runner or as a pass catcher. And I talked about James Cook a little bit on my other channel, 4 Verts, where we talk all things NFL college football. Is he the best pure runner in the league? No. Is he the best pass catcher in the league? No. But is he top 7 in both? Yes. And that makes him one of the best running backs in the NFL. Should the Bears trade for James Cook? If this opportunity presented itself, would you pursue it? Type T for trade or P for pass. This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so you can answer right there. Don't forget to subscribe and join us later today. Bears OTAs reaction for week 2. The media is back out there at Hallis Hall, so we'll get all the news, notes, and nuggets from practice today and hear how Caleb Williams and the boys looked at today's OTA practice. Okay, you look at the Bears running back depth chart right now. Obviously, it's underwhelming, right? I like DeAndre Swift. I've made that clear. I don't hate him. I think he's got flaws. But in a bad offense last year, he had over 1,300 yards. He's an effective player. He's a good pass catcher. He can hit the home run. His vision is, I would say, below average. He's not great in pass pro. So, you kind of take the good with the bad there. And then there's a lot of questions. I think there's still some level of hope with Roschon Johnson. I don't know how much. Kyle Monungai is obviously a very interesting player, but he is a 7th-round rookie. We know Travis Homer is primarily a special teamer. I'm intrigued with Ian Wheeler, but can he really crack a rotation this year? I think that's still a long shot. I think if you just make it simple, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, I think James Cook is a notable upgrade. I would call James Cook a clear top 10 back in this league, fringe top 5. I think he could make that case based on what he's done the last couple of years, and I still think he's ascending as a player. He doesn't have a crazy amount of touches and mileage despite the production over the last couple of years in the NFL. He's under 540 carries in his career, 124 catches, so he's under 700 touches overall, which is pretty good. I think he's firmly in that tier 2 group. Swift he's a starting running back in the NFL, but he's closer, I would say, to 20, 25 in the league, which is fine, than top 10, which James Cook clearly is. Is he top 5? That's probably up for debate, but you look at the highest paid running backs per year, how many guys on this list would you take James Cook over? I'd say more than a few. I would take him over this version of Aaron Jones. I like James Conner a lot. I'll take James Cook. David Montgomery, we all like it. James Cook is more explosive. I would take him. I'd take him over Ramondre. I would take him over this version of Alvin Kamara. I think Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs you could debate. And then I think the top three, if McCaffrey's healthy, they're in their own tier. Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Obviously, there's guys like Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, who are still on their rookie deals as well. So if you factor those guys in, he's somewhere, I would say, between 4 at the highest and like 8 at the lowest. I think that's in the range of NFL running backs that this guy is in. And I think when you hear about that report from earlier this offseason that he wants $15 million per year, I think that's fair. Jonathan Taylor got 14 and a half. And I think at worst, he's right there with Jonathan Taylor. And he got paid 2 years ago. And with the cap going up, I think 15 is a reasonable ask. I really, really do. With what he does in the passing game as well, I would be comfortable giving James Cook that on a 3, maybe even a 4-year contract when it comes to paying him a second deal, which obviously this would be a second contract coming off his rookie deal. So would the Bears be interested? That is the question. I'll tell you what, if I'm Ryan Poles and I'm seeing that there's maybe some friction brewing there, I'd give Buffalo a call, especially after OTAs, and just say, hey, listen, is he available? Is he not? If he were to be available, what would it cost? And just poke around, right? We know these two teams like trading with each other. They've done it multiple times during the draft and outside of the draft over the last couple of years, starting with that Ryan Bates trade early last offseason. So clearly Poles and Beane, they have a good relationship, Brandon Beane, the Bills GM. So no harm in asking, would I expect Buffalo to trade him? No, but if negotiations aren't there and he doesn't have a new deal by training camp, I would not expect him to show up. So things could certainly get weird and things could get sticky between Buffalo and James Cook during training camp. So definitely a situation to monitor. We'll talk about what a trade could look like. I saw a Bills fan on social media throw a trade out there with the Bears, actually, that caught my attention. We'll talk about that in a second. But get your Caleb Williams jerseys today at chatsports.com/Caleb jersey. That link is in the comments and in the description of this video. Chatsports.com/Caleb jersey. Only $100 for a limited time only. Go check it out. Chatsports.com/Caleb jersey. Shout out Tweets by Sneaky Joe cracking his way into my Twitter algorithm as I looked into him. He's a Bills fan, I guess internet content creator guy. And he basically said if you wanted to move James Cook, you could trade him to Chicago for DeAndre Swift and a 4th-round pick. And, I kind of looked to the replies in his couple tweets. I was like, is he serious? Is he not? He seems pretty serious. I would do this in a heartbeat. And again, I'm not hating on Swift. I think he's a solid starter. He would be an excellent number 2. I think their skill sets overlap a bit, but if you wanted to have both, that would certainly be fine if a trade package was available to keep Swift. Obviously, you'd have to trade more in draft compensation. But if Swift and a 4th-round pick was on the table for James Cook, even though you have to pay him, I think I'm doing that trade pretty easily, right? Because I think based on what Swift provided last year, he's probably a little bit overpaid. You get out of that contract. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. I think I would do that. So you revisit what the running back room would look like. James Cook all of a sudden in there, DeAndre Swift out. Again, you're losing your best back, but you're upgrading, I would say at least somewhat significantly, if not extremely significantly. I think James Cook is one of the more underappreciated players. I think if he was with the team that didn't have a quarterback that they ran intentionally as often as they do, and Josh Allen, he could rush for 1,400 yards. I think that's very much on the table for James Cook. And by the way, what this would do is, maybe in a perfect world, if you're building a Madden roster or something like that, you'd want to have Cook and Swift because that's a fun dynamic 1-2 punch. But what this does is it elevates your starter pretty significantly, and it takes the pressure off the depth guys, right? Like if Roschon Johnson or Kyle Monunga, if none of these guys emerges like a true high-end number 2, well, James Cook's a 3-down back. So you can kind of limit the amount of touches you give to those other guys, and it doesn't have to be a true committee situation, whereas right now it's DeAndre Swift, but you're probably going to have a couple other guys that get some touches. It would feel like more of a committee situation with a lead runner in DeAndre Swift. And by the way, from a financial situation, we are approaching June 1st. Both these guys, post-June 1, if they get traded, for the Bears, DeAndre Swift only costs $1.33 million against the Bears cap if they traded him post-June 1. That's pretty insignificant. And then for the Bills, James Cook costs $350,000 because he's still on his rookie deal if it's a post-June 1 trade. So, neither team is suffering that much from the guy they're sending out from a dead cap penalty situation. Now, obviously, the Bears would, I would assume, have a contract in place if they were going to make this deal for James Cook, but he's in the last year of his contract, doesn't cost that much money, and you could give him, a 3-year extension, $45 million. This year he's making a few $1,000,000. It really turns into like a 4-year, like $49 million deal. That feels a lot better at $12, $13 million per year than 15, 16. So, just something to consider, something to monitor. Keep an eye on that Buffalo situation. I do think the Bears will keep their eyes out on any running back situations that become available across the NFL. All right, so we'll revisit that trade idea that was proposed. James Cook to the Bears for DeAndre Swift and a 4th-round pick next year. Would you do this trade? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'd feel pretty comfortable. I would do this deal, especially if the contract wasn't just absolutely outrageous for an extension. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Be sure to just subscribe and join us later on. We will have OTA Week 2 reaction from today's practice. Follow me on Twitter as well, by the way, at HGramNFL. I'll tweet any relevant updates that come out before we're able to get you guys a video, so I'll be over there. Until later on, bear down.